All right, guys, welcome back to the EU LCS. I am joined by the victorious Upset after a clash with Giants. Felt for most of the game like a pretty one-sided affair once your composition got going, but Brand picked up against you in the bottom lane. I think a lot of people want to know, is it as bad to deal with in competitive as it is in solo queue?
I think it's definitely less bad to deal with in competitive, because at some point he will just get one shot and he can't snowball as hard. But this game was actually quite difficult because we had Twitch, and Twitch has poison on red buff level 1, and then our jungle lost the red buff, so he lost like a lot of impact that he could have, and maybe he could pressure their bot more, the Brand pick in specific, so they can't take turret so fast. But even though I haven't, and I also haven't seen Brand for a very long time, like I think last time was probably Liquid at Worlds, but I think it definitely has potential to snowball early game, but at some point it just falls off very hard, and especially against Twitch, I just one-shot everyone anyways.
All right. Well, I just want to ask you one more question as we get closer to our next matchup. Sjokz is a team that's been having a lot of up and down results. It seems like there have been some struggles for you guys. With you now coming back to the lineup and everything seemingly squared away in terms of health and all 5 players now being available, what do you think is the biggest thing that this team needs to work on in weeks moving forward?
I think we had a pretty rough time these last 2 weeks because I was sick for a lot of time and we had to play with Boris, our sub, who did very well. And I was actually very proud of my team how they played without me even. But I think the biggest thing we have to work on right now is translating scrim performance into stage performance, because we're definitely a lot more nervous, I feel, or our game plans aren't working as cleanly as in scrims. So we have to look at every game and look, because from these stage games we can improve like the most out of anything. Because if you play differently on stage than in scrims, you have to fix it as soon as possible. And I think once we get into a better mindset on stage, where we are very comfortable and confident, we will perform very good and we can compete at the top.
All right, well, congrats again on the win. I look forward to seeing at how that develops over the week. But for now, we're going to send it back to Sjokz, the analyst desk, to get us into our next matchup.
Thank you very much, Drakos. There we have it, hearing from Upset. Finally, I would say, had a good performance today. And a couple of the answers that we asked before the Schalke match after yesterday were answered. New pick for Upset, new pick for Pride, and that seemed to be working a lot better. You definitely had a lot to say about picks and bans yesterday, so are you happy,
Look at the grin, look at the grin.
I'm really happy. I want them to, I want the players to succeed. I want everyone to succeed in the US, yes, but I think Schalke especially, our team that was so hyped to begin with, but then they fought in the pick bans, and that's such an elementary thing. And then they finally pick the Sejuani, they finally give in and say, hey, we can actually do that too. And I'm happy about that.
And we got to see Upset on a scaling AD carry, and I think that that is the champion that he feels most comfortable on, and we saw in a lot of those late game fights.
Also nice to see how he was confident in the interview, just explaining everything very calmly, what they had to work on. Pride is our player of the game, 43% of the votes on Sejuani. Who would have thought it? Very nice that they made a change, and very nice that they made it work. And that'll be, as said, time and time again, a much needed confidence boost for everyone.
Oh, it certainly will be. It's nice to see that Pride is finding his position in the team. In the past, he was criticized for not having a good understanding of where to be and how to really play high-level League of Legends, but it feels like that he's growing into that role more and more each week.
We're putting a lot on his shoulders. He was rookie of the split in summer, but it was only his first year, but he has to develop.
Then again, I think his competition were some monkeys in terms of Yuki and...
Oh, you mean in the Mysterious? I see.
That's very true.
All right, let's move on to our next matchup. We've got Roccat going up against Fnatic, and before the split, obviously, Roccat would have been an underdog going into this one, but the Kingslayers have been a lot more than that. They have picked up a lot of important wins. They are currently in 5th place in the standings, tied with a lot of other big names. Yesterday, they were up versus Giants. They lost that 1st place spot. It didn't work out, and a question we asked was, can they show a bit more in the early game so that they don't always have to rely on that mid-game turnaround? They tried it. It didn't work out, but kudos for trying.
Yeah, quite right. I think that for me, I was happy to see Roccat draft a composition that was harder for them as a team to play. And at the very least, they were able to punish some of the mistakes that Giants made. Unfortunately, there were just some big, bad decisions that really resulted in them losing out in the game.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see them opting for the Camille jungle, especially. I thought that
you
pick,
hated it.
I hate it, but I like the effort, because the thing is that for me, the Camille enables Galio so much more. It's 100% like basically just like jump on top, kill someone. Obviously that fell through because of traps coming in, whatever it is. We already covered that, but yeah, Roccat definitely seems to be more eager to improve, and I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, a couple of players also still performing very well. HeaQ, a lot of the names that we didn't expect a lot from are still putting on great performances.
Yeah, we talked about HeaQ yesterday, and I still feel like even in the loss yesterday, he's been having a solid performance. His hair is exemplary of his play. He's forward, he's always doing a lot of damage in the fights, he's trying to go Super Saiyan for his team, and he's just an individual that I feel is worth watching out for, because while he had a rough time on NIP last split, I feel like he's developing into much more of one of the big carries for his team.
We'll see how he keeps developing together with Roccat. In this game, they're up versus Fnatic, and we're also keeping our eye on some individuals. Caps, for me, main carry for this team going into the week. Obviously, we had some concerns about other members, and yesterday it really seemed like he felt that. He was trying to make plays versus Misfits on Azir. He's trying to make the Shurima shuffles happen, sometimes with a lot of success, sometimes with not so much.
I like it a lot. I'm actually a fan of Caps in terms of his mechanics, and they finally started playing around him. Broxah investing so much time into the mid lane, obviously with the Nunu Azir combo kind of necessary, but them actually looking for synergy is something that hasn't happened necessarily in the past. Fnatic has always relied on the side lanes to carry them and have left Caps on his own, even in the beginning of the season where we saw him being repeatedly ganked by Gilius, for example, in the Zac game. They finally started playing around him and try to make him the main carry. Whether or not that's the right decision is something else, but him having a bigger role in the team is so important for them coming into playoffs, coming into Worlds, whatever their goal is, because he needs to be confident and needs to be part of the team, not just rely on Rekkles and sOAZ to carry him.
And you only have to look at some of his damage numbers to see how much of a focus they are putting onto Caps in being the big carry. That kind of damage per minute and percentage is absolutely ridiculous. Yes, a long game does help that, but it just shows how consistent this guy is being in terms of trying to be the big playmaker. And I just feel that the pressure is starting to get to him a little bit and how much he feels he needs to be the playmaker.
Yeah, but I honestly think that's a good evolution for Fnatic because they want to have options, right? They want to see what they can do, and maybe it's time for Caps to step up and make some mistakes and learn the lessons, but they will want to pick up a win here. So if you have to pick one lane, that could make the difference for either side. What would it be? I'm hearing Caps for the side of Fnatic. Roccat, where does the change come from?
I mean, the change for them has to come from, I think, honestly, yesterday, I felt like Memento kind of looked iffy. Other jungler.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, I think they have to be more cohesive, and I think it comes out of Memento.
Okay, let's see if that happens. Fnatic are looking to gain some ground on the top teams. Can they get a win on the board versus Roccat? Let's head over to our casters and find out.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. Good evening to all you esports enthusiasts. I'm Devin, Piratechnics, following along the action alongside Martin Deficio. Linga, how you doing today, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. I actually enjoyed the first two games a lot. We had crazy action going on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, the game one ended in insane fashion.
It did.
The second game was just kind of fun all the way around.
We had brand support.
We did have brand support. Unfortunately, didn't get that win. I won't give any more spoilers, but anyways, we'll get back into this one before we hit the picks and bans. Let's take a look at the teams. Kicking it off on the blue side, it is Roccat with Prophet up in the top lane, Memento in the jungle, Blanc in the mid, HeaQ the AD carry, support Norskeren, and their coach, Federico 122.
I like it when you say it like that. He told me he does not want to be known as the control ward master, so we need a new name for Freddy, a new nickname for him. But let's actually talk about the team they're playing against today, because it is Fnatic who's on the other side, and we have sOAZ up in that top lane, and Broxah is right next to him in the jungle. Caps in the mid lane, Rekkles AD carry, Hylissang support, and Dylan Falco is still behind the team. You see him right there on screen, and Fnatic yesterday almost won. Multiple times during the same game.
Heartbreaker of an ending, to be honest.
And then
both
they lost.
these teams ended up losing what were very close matchups. But for Fnatic, the pressure is always on these guys. There's a big fan base behind them. They've been very vocal about how disappointed they've been over the last couple of weeks. And it's definitely a pressure game for these guys, but it's still very early on in the split.
It is, but come on. When you only replace one member, everything else stays the same. And then you go into another split and you have such a rough start. Naturally, a lot of the fans will be disappointed because they expected Fnatic to be the team who's sitting at number one, you know, winning almost every single game they're playing. But it is best of one, so there's a high chance of upsets. And the meta, you know, has kind of been strange here in Europe, where some teams we didn't expect to win games have suddenly been doing really well in the late game. And Fnatic's late game, it's not been good enough, which is why they've lost a lot of games.
No, but I wonder if that's what they need to shore up over the long term, but maybe right here, right now, just double down on what you're good at. Try to get yourself ahead enough in the early game. They have had some good results, and we'll find out if it's going to happen once again. Heading into picks and bans. Once again, we're on patch 8.2, so we've seen a couple of changes, and there's your favorite Kench benched.
Always love it when we bench the Kench in the pick and ban phase. Fnatic did show us Nuno as the only team yesterday. It was banned in most of the other games.
It's hard for their opponents to get a Baron off edgewise.
Yeah, the Nuno and Azir combo worked really well around mid lane for Caps, and they played Zyrakan, which surprised me a little bit down in the bot lane.
Now, the Braum is banned away. This has been far and away Norskeren's most played champion. Even tweeted about it earlier today. I hope I get to play Braum. Well, apparently not this time.
Oh, and the two most standard supports are already banned away in Tahm Kench and Braum. Opens up for Alistar, opens up for Thresh,
Opens up for Brand.
Rakan as well. If Fnatic wants to play Zyrakan once again, it might be possible. I'm not expecting Roccat to first pick the Zyra and take that away.
And the next ban's, of course, focusing on the mid laners with Zoe, Azir. We see Ryze still up and available, but it's a small pool of what people consider to be the top tier mids, and then Ryze is gone out of there too.
Yeah, so many mid lane bans. Malzahar is still available, but it was nerfed, of course, coming in to this week with patch 8.2. So we might also get some new and exciting mid lane picks in this draft. Sejuani is available if Memento wants to be simple and boring, but also smart. He can grab that one.
Memento did play something a little bit different yesterday with the Camille pickup, but of course we didn't talk about the AD carry pool, which was left completely alone, which means HeaQ gets to try his luck on the Kalista.
All right, Kalista still a very good first pick, and Alistar is there. If I'm Fnatic, I take Alistar myself to avoid the Kalista-Alistar combo that Roccat can grab on their side. And then with that, you can still pick your preferred jungler, or if you have a specific mid lane pick you want to grab, you can go for it. I think taking the Alistar is the smartest choice.
Yep. Looks like Fnatic are going to prefer the Zac over all the other jungle choices up and available. That's a lot of engage.
Yeah, and they really want to gank that mid lane as well. Zac has been so good at controlling enemy mid laners. If Caps gets his hands on something like the Malzahar, get level 6 on that mid laner and just perma-gank the mid lane to shut down Blanc, it is a possibility for Fnatic.
And it's certainly possible. We'll see what Roccat answer with. The Sjokz, no-brainer there as it's going to be picked up by Memento. Are they going to round them out with the support here, or do we see something different?
We always get Prophet and Roccat looking towards the Gnar. Now it is pick blind, and sOAZ does have a chance to counterpick it before the next phase if this gets locked in. Camille and Jace both available, even though sOAZ can often just look towards the tank as well if he wants to. But with his champion pool, he might just wait until next phase if they really want to grab a mid lane choice here to camp the mid lane. But so many options because we have so many mid lane bans.
A little bit of discussion.
Oh,
there.
yes, the team mode,
Yes,
of course.
Naturally. No, it's going to be the AD carry. Rekkles locks in Tristana. There's a favorite of his. Get some power picks in the AD carry pool now. Ban phase 2 enters, so Thresh is off the board. Thresh has been seeing a fair amount of resurgence lately.
Yeah, Kalista Thresh, still a great 2v2 combo.
Good yo-yo.
Getting removed. We might get like a Taric from Roccat coming in. It's fine in lane against the Alistar. It's good against things like Zac if you can time your ulti with his engage.
Yeah, Ornn's banned off. You know, there's another possibility I'm thinking of. Do you remember the Ballista combo?
I do. Do you want to play that against the Alistar?
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, you could.
I mean, you can grab the Tristana.
We saw Gnar over in the LCK play Blitzcrank against the Tahm Kench today and still pull off some crazy plays. It is a possibility for Norskeren.
However unlikely.
Lane.
Now another support is banned away, the Janna. Fnatic have removed from Norskeren. Let's see what Roccat are going to answer with. The Ornn was already off, so they're still hitting sOAZ hard.
And I would consider a Camille ban if I'm Roccat, because I think Fnatic with Camille and Alistar and Zac, like, that trio is amazing at locking down a Kalista and just make it impossible for her to even play the game. They don't ban it away. Let's see if sOAZ wants to play it or if he still wants to just play a tank up in top lane.
Fnatic have some time to decide. Still 12 seconds left for them to take this next pick.
I mean, there it is. I don't know, kind of disrespectful in my opinion that they ban away Taliyah in this case. I get maybe they're respecting that Caps would grab it and control the game, but Taliyah is really not that difficult to play against at this point after some of the nerfs that happened to her. Anyway, there we go. We have Fnatic saying, HeaQ, you're going to die every single team fight.
Oh yeah, and the Shen comes in. There's the Shen support. Okay, that's something you can throw in.
I would actually have preferred Taric there, just because you know the enemy team is going to dive your backline and try and kill them in the duration of a Camille ulti, but instead it is Shen, so good laning phase on the side of Roccat, and we know it's spellbook meta with 5 million teleports.
Oh yeah.
Corki blind as well for the mid lane.
Okay.
A lot of scaling coming in from Blanc's side.
Yeah, once upon a time, though, Corki considered to be probably the safest of safe mid laners.
Very true.
So if they are looking to try and dive him over and over again, this might be a better choice for Roccat. All that's left to see is what Caps locks in, currently hovering on the Orianna.
Yeah, I really want to see what he wants to play here with Talia being banned away from him. Aurelion Sol, it's always an option, and we always want to see it because it is such a fun champion to watch in competitive play. Push lane, roam. It changes the entire way you have to play because you are so scared of pushing out side lanes, knowing there's a chance this crazy dragon just flies over a wall and kills you. So Roccat banned Talia to try and avoid a roaming mid laner, gave away Camille then to sOAZ, and then still got to play against a roaming mid laner. Sucks.
So, Deficio, you were talking about how Fnatic's game plan up until this point looked like they were going to go for, all right, let's dive the mid lane, let's dive the mid lane. And they throw a spanner in the works here, the Aurelion Sol. It feels like they could dive just about anywhere.
Yeah, now you can just play to both side lanes. You have Alistar for tower diving bot side, you have Camille against the Gnar, so when it's mini Gnar sitting there, all squishy, easy to kill, Camille goes in with a long range engage, and then suddenly Aurelion Sol shows up. I actually really like what Fnatic are trying to do here, and if they can play successfully around especially the top side, they can get ahead in this early game.
Well, we've talked about how Fnatic have had struggles in the late. They do have some tools to set themselves up earlier on. Will they be able to do it and bounce back from a heartbreaker yesterday against the Misfits? Or will Team Roccat blast off at the speed of light up towards the top of the standings, I should say. I should stop while I'm ahead, apparently. The Roccat faithful in the audience, making some noise. They're looking to set the rules all over Fnatic. Let's see if they can do it.
And we have something very interesting with this Aurelion Sol from Caps' side. He's running Glacial Augment as his keystone here.
You're kidding me.
Not phase rush, as we typically see on Aurelion Sol. The focus is on having even more slows coming from Aurelion Sol, and more importantly, when you have an item that has a slow, which you can build with the GLP gun, it actually provides even more AoE slow around it. We will probably see that build from Caps in this game. Then we can talk more about it. Oh, Norskeren, you might get caught.
Yeah, dashes over. Whoa, that's a quick jump in for Rekkles. They want to get the action started really early. HeaQ's joined Norskeren. Corki's in the mix as well, so as they got the stun off, force the flash. That's going to be it for now.
Hylissang did not want to Q flash after him. So Norskeren uses flash. We can already see he's picked up the Hextech flash for himself. The crowd cheering.
Yeah, guys, we didn't get the kill. Something's wrong.
Everyone is confused. It might be one of the famous PC issues.
Well, infamous at this point.
Yeah.
Deficio, I won't stop you if you want to go and beat the PC up.
I already did once. Clearly didn't work.
Okay.
Violence solves nothing, is what I learned.
Really?
Except I got my anger out, or frustrations out on the PC.
Fair enough.
I
think we've got a few backups.
I definitely won the fight.
Okay, well, we'll get some more information on the nature of the pause. Hopefully it doesn't last too long, but let's talk a little bit more about the composition that Fnatic was building. We talked about their early game and how that seems to be the strength of this team right now. What specifically do you want to see them do? Is it just the Aurelion Sol onto the bottom of the top?
I think play around top side is the easier one for them right now. One problem is that the enemy bot lane is running double spellbook, so that's going to be 2 teleports. There's going to be a Shen ulti. So later in the game, if Fnatic are diving top lane, there might be 3 or 4 TPs suddenly coming up there to stop this from happening. But early on, when Aurelion Sol can already roam from level 2 to level 3, it is possible for him to go up before the enemy bot lane can react. And yeah, I want to see that. I want to see them get sOAZ ahead in this game here, get him super fed if they can. And I just want to see Caps be so active on Aurelion Sol. At level 6, you can also gank mid. Aurelion Sol's ulti is amazing at setting up ganks when it ends up just slowing down everything and you just feel like you can't get away unless you have flash.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now, to give you guys a quick update, this is a non-bug related issue. It's just a video setting that they're resolving on Hylissang's PC.
A video setting?
Yeah. As in a setting that needs changing.
Oh my god.
Looks like they're all good to go. Should we get back into game pretty quickly? But a lot of early action from Fnatic. You talk about getting themselves ahead early. They didn't even wait until the minions spawned to do it.
Didn't get the kill though.
They did get a flash.
They got the flash.
That's a start.
So they got that one away from Norskeren in the bot lane. Want to see what the Kalista Shen combo can do. good early laning phase, and then again, the globals can be used to move around the map a lot. It's the macro game of the current League of Legends meta is super strange because you think you got it all figured out, and then suddenly there are 8 teleports, and there are plays happening you never realized could even happen in the first place.
And then they trade him out, so you don't even know who teleported.
Yeah, and then suddenly they trade him for something else, and it's kind of all over the place, but it does mean that going for aggressive tower dives is a little bit harder because you got to keep track of every single TP available so that you don't start the tower dive and then 2 people TP in and you get punished for it. And it's a lot of summoner spell tracking and cooldown tracking right now in professional League of Legends.
Yeah, it's kind of like up in the game, even from the spectator portion. You've got to be watching all the summoner spells, watching all the usage. And it looks like we're going to be loading back into the game as the ready check's completed for all the players. We'll see how this all unfolds, of course. As you remember, early game shenanigans from Fnatic only netted that summoner spell, but it could be a sign of things to come down on the bottom side after burning the Shen's flash.
All right, back in the game.
Okie dokie. Now,
Wait, where are they going?
to the mid lane. This is interesting.
Sneaking
All right,
their
we're not
way
going to have a
in.
lot of time to talk about this, I have a feeling, Deficio, but Roccat and Fnatic are the 2 most longest standing organizations in the European LCS. They have quite a bit of history. And you know, Fnatic have definitely been the more winning one.
Yeah, yeah.
But Roccat aren't called Kingslayers for nothing, because 5 of those wins that they have against Fnatic were from last year.
Let's see if they can make it 6 wins in this one. Otherwise, Fnatic will continue being pretty far ahead in the
All-time leader.
rivalry between Fnatic and Roccat. So, nothing fancy happened right there. I thought maybe they were looking for some cheesy plays around mid lane level 1. Not this time around. Still, as we highlighted before, Caps with glacial augment. So when he auto-attacks, he does provide an additional slow for himself. Right there, you see the slow proccing onto Blanc, so he can't get away from the damage of Aurelion Sol. And it can get pretty annoying to play against, especially early on when there's these quick trades of Caps just moving forward and hitting once or twice with his autos.
Yep. Doesn't even need to auto-attack him to get him knocked down a little bit in lane. Now, quick taunt off onto Rekkles. He's hopped away, short distance there. It's interesting when you see so many mid lane bans, it starts to open up the champion pools everywhere else.
That's
what
we want to see.
Power picks. I like it though too.
Yeah, no one likes it to just see the same foe.
Oh, that was a Hex Flash.
Try to see if you can get a flash out of someone right there. Norskeren
Nice attempt, Norskeren.
down the bot lane. But yeah, when it's the same mid lane picks every game, it gets a little bit boring. So the fact we had so many bans in this one and the Malzahar nerf suddenly sets up different picks. Corki is back in the meta. It's still amazing late game. Trinity Force, Infinity Edge, Yada,
Aurelion Sol.
Aurelion Sol is of course always fun to watch. A lot more focus on the early game and roaming.
All right, now Broxah's getting bullied out of his own jungle. Memento gonna snipe away a couple of the Raptor camps and heading towards the red,
Yeah,
but he's
but
not going to
Caps-
take it. Caps incoming. Try and cut him off. Now he's back to lane.
Want to force Memento out. He might actually see if he can stay. Still in here, sneaky,
this is
sneaky.
risky.
So they know this. They place the ward on the red buff. Broxah is still fairly low. They're fighting again.
Oh boy, Memento. He's got the goose sticking onto Memento, but he's just trying to run away. Broxah is. Now Caps once again chasing forward on Blanc. I got a feeling we won't have to wait too long before first blood, Deficio.
And you can't avoid the damage from the stars flying around because you get slowed by Caps' auto attacks. Hard for Blanc to do a whole lot in the start. Memento is still full HP. He's still in here. He refuses to give up. And poor Broxah can't get his red buff.
Yep.
Oh,
That
they're
feels
fighting
bad,
now.
man.
Broxah.
He's even taking the Krugs away. Oh my god. Gets the smite off.
Oh,
Broxah's
smack
still
him.
trying to chase him. Okay. Smacks him up against the rocks.
Caps is moving again, but doesn't really want to fully commit because it's still a full HP Sejuani. And Memento is still here. He's just at the red buff. Prophet pushing the top side, moves in. Broxah can't do much. He needs help.
Yeah, with Prophet and Gnar, this is going to be really difficult for him to secure. He could try for the 50-50 smite it out. However, he's not going to be able to do it. Oh no, Broxah burning low and gets popped into little globs, and that is going to be the first one unless sOAZ can cause enough of a distraction. Teleport on top of one of them. He's bringing Caps in, gets the stun off. Blanc's even joined to the mix, and there's a full-on skirmish in this jungle. sOAZ trying to get involved, but it's just so hard for him to do with the low health bars, and now Caps gonna have to heal it up as Prophet chased him back under second tier.
So in the end, Fnatic, they move in to try and help their jungler, and they save Broxah, but they had to use TP, and also we saw the heal used here by Caps to try and stop this from happening. Memento still got the red buff. He stole that away before he found Broxah and got him into his passive. So decent start from Roccat, using the push they had mainly in the top lane, and how Sejuani can outduel the Zac.
All right, so Hylissang's left to hold the line alone down on bottom side as Rekkles backed away. It was a little far forward, so he tanked a couple of Ren stacks for his trouble. We've been focused a lot on that jungle and the difference between Memento and Broxah CS as a result, but there's really action everywhere. Caps tanking a lot of chunk damage, courtesy of Blanc. He's turning it around just as much as Caps can give it. But Broxah, he's left to pick up the scraps in this jungle. And how far is this going to set Fnatic back in this game?
I mean, for now, it's not too bad. Like, Broxah didn't die. He didn't have to blow his flash or something, so he could easily get invaded again. Memento lost his flash during the fight, so he needs to be a bit more careful. I think the main problem for Fnatic was the fact that Caps had to constantly try and move up and help, and couldn't just focus on playing his early laning phase 1v1. And you can see he's already down pretty far in CS and down in experience, so that's kind of where Fnatic got hurt the most. Not really Broxah specifically.
Yeah, and as we've been pointing out, Fnatic are usually, of these two teams, the ones that do better in the early game. It's the later stages where they've been falling off.
Yeah, I really like this early plan from a Roccat team that's, as you guys can see, very far down in terms of gold at 15 minutes. In most of the games we watch them play, and then they get back late game through some good team fighting. This one, though, they're trying really hard to keep Fnatic down. Caps back to base for the second time. And sOAZ also struggling a bit early on top lane, and he can't get any help from Broxah because, of course, he was busy dealing with Memento in his own jungle.
Yeah, we talked about the matchups individually, but really can't account for the fact that some weird shenanigans might be taking place inside the jungle. So it's really Fnatic with this gold deficit to start things off. And Prophet pushing on sOAZ, hook shot, back forward.
sOAZ didn't get his level 6 yet. There's a big wave he wants to grab with Mementos here to try and deny it. Or will he try and look for Broxah? Poor Broxah, he just wants to farm, and now we might get a tower dive.
Yeah. Okay, sOAZ, he's got a flash. He might want to use it. Prophet, he's content to just take a few pot shots at this tower.
Yeah, the node's too risky, and sOAZ will get level 6 very soon. Oh, wait.
Don't want to get trapped in the cage. Gonna go back to mid. Blanc is gonna Valk over, misses on the Roccat, but Norskeren is incoming, and it's a flash. Oh, the taunt under tower. First blood for Norskeren.
Norskeren found his way to the mid lane despite 2 control wards being already placed in the river by Fnatic. And suddenly surprises Caps right there, who tried to run away, but taunt flash ready from the Shen. A good roam from Rockat's support, and Prophet, he just keeps poking away on sOAZ top lane.
Yeah, it's really nice moves from Roccat early on. We talked about roaming in the mid lane to every other lane, but in the end, it was Rockat's support that made the roam to the lane, and we're going to see that again.
All right, let's see it again here. So, Norskeren is spotted, but Caps is so far, forward in the lane that he can't really get out in time. Good route here from Norskeren.
Ooh.
Nice taunt flash.
Norskeren. So he can play a lot more than just Braum, and gives himself a well-deserved little smirk.
Now we're half dab today.
That guy is a gift factory.
Yeah, we've actually made it a thing now that every week we will have multiple of these camera shots of just Norskeren and his
I like
reaction.
this trend.
Hopefully he keeps making some different ones. Good start though again from Roccat. Very impressed with this early game plan. Using the pushing top side, invade with the Sejuani. sOAZ is again, he's down in his lane. Caps down in CS in his lane as well, and slightly down in experience. This Corki here, we know the scaling is there. It's just give him time.
Yeah.
Give him that Trinity Force, give him that eye edge, and then he will become an amazing team fighter in the late game. And Caps wants to roam early on Aurelion Sol, but not found any opportunity yet. He's looking for bot lane.
Okay. Sitting in the Dragon Pit, doesn't want to get spotted here. Now, Blanc, didn't see him.
Have to remember there's a stopwatch on HeaQ. So if you are tower diving him, that is something to account for. Q missing right there. Caps takes a big trade in his face.
I'm wondering how well this Aurelion Sol pick will work out. Mentioned the Glacial Augment too. I mean, it's great for chasing people down and all that, but
yeah, and
is he missing out on a lot with the phase rush?
Well, not necessarily, because instead of him getting more movement speed, he just slows down whoever he's fighting against. And once he gets the Hextech GLP that I'm expecting him to build, he will be able to get even more out of Glacial Augment. Because of how it works, if you have an item that does provide a slow, it actually provides this extra freeze ray that also slows down people for around 60%. So it is a lot of additional utility that he can bring once he completes the first item. But for now, he was stuck in that really tough spot where he had to help Broxah, and it cost him quite a bit in lane.
Norskeren trying the trick once again. Surprise Hex Flash around the side. He's actually going to be stopping up Hylissang. Gets a taunt off. But of course, Rekkles just trying to back away. HeaQ teleporting back in. It seems like the timings changed so much with this unsealed spellbook meta in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and it's also much harder with, again, if we talked about earlier with summoner spells, how you change them up all the time. One moment you have 5 TPs, the next moment you have 5 cleanses. And also the cooldown on summoner spells being reduced is one of the absolutely amazing things about spellbook. One thing that might get changed in the future, I think on the PBE, it is nerfed a bit. But that is obviously for next patch, if that ends up going through.
Now we're still talking about this one. Seen a number of interesting things come through on 8.2 already.
All right, Broxah spotted again. Tough game so far for him.
Yeah, he's been down in that CS.
And look at Roccat on bot side.
Yeah, let's see the dive off. This could turn his fortunes around. Now the teleport's coming in for the Alistar, but that's going to cue Roccat to back off. And now they're pinging. Both junglers, Memento has been finding Broxah constantly this game.
Yeah, Broxah did place a control ward now to kill that ward from Rocket's side. But the bottom lane is now potentially rolling mid. Nice.
Caps, nice dodge. Now, can he get out of harm's way? He's going to go golden. Buys enough time for Broxah to make his grand entrance. And Caps just looking to chase down Memento. Heals to get the extra speed. The goo is sticking on the back of Memento. He's dashing. Arctic retreat. And he's just able to dodge that sub. Rekkles coming out of the blue. And let's see the blast cone's going to get taken, but not before Caps delivers the final blow.
Yeah, Fnatic's bot lane roamed very early from the bottom side. Oh, Blanc. No, he's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
But still, Rekkles, he left that bot lane like 30 seconds ago saying, okay, there might happen something. There might be a fight in mid. And he just walked straight in towards the mid lane, ended up joining and getting that kill Memento with his team. A lot of early roaming in this game.
We expected Caps to be making a trip down bot or up to the top.
Going mid instead.
Hey, you know, it's like that old thing that you see on postcards, like, you know, I wish I was there. Rekkles just decided to deliver himself.
It goes mid. Look how early he left. Him and Broxah just instantly reacting, and Memento missed a stun onto Caps, then got knocked back towards the turret, and good use of the stopwatch here. And at this point, Memento can't really find a way out with the amount of damage coming towards him.
So I like how he made up for the no phase rush by healing for the speed boost.
Smart man.
Yeah. Next level from Caps.
Blop. And
Great sound effect.
the Hextech GLP is ready.
All right.
The hose. It also has some other names we can't use on broadcast.
I'm glad you gave that disclaimer. First item completed, though, for Caps. Now, Trinity Force on the Corki as well, so there's a fairly big difference in the CS department there, but as you mentioned, Caps kind of beat up for a little while. And resulted in only a couple hundred gold difference, though.
I just want to see him use it now on a champion, so he applies the slow from the GLP, and then gets the extra slow from Glacial Augment, and then everything is just slowed for like 45 seconds, and moving around in a team fight becomes very painful, or escaping a potential gank from Aurelion Sol becomes even harder to do. So I just want to see that in action now from Caps, as it is the first time we get to see this keystone for the Aurelion Sol.
I want to see him going up top to make a play. Prophet has been really keeping sOAZ down for a little while now, and granted, sOAZ kind of had to give Broxah some assistance earlier on in the jungle, which set him kind of behind in the early game, but on this Gnar, I'm a little worried for Fnatic if he's kind of allowed to go really unchallenged for most of this laning phase.
Well, it just sucked for sOAZ. He had to blow his TP as well on trying to save Broxah, as he couldn't use that back to lane. Also set him a bit behind, and yeah, in general, tough early laning phase for Camille, but she will still be able to outscale in the side lane. And if she gets a gank from this Aurelion Sol, it is a very easy kill onto a Gnar. So there are definitely still a lot of opportunities for Fnatic, despite the rough start.
Well, rough start's definitely one way to put it. I mean, this is a Fnatic team, mentioned it in picks and bans, that have been having some struggles, that have a heartbreaking loss yesterday against the Misfits in such a long game.
3 inhibs down.
I mean, over and over again, they were wailing at the base, and it just got turned around. And to try and bounce back from that, it's what you got to be able to do. And
of course,
so far, Fnatic, I mean, they're keeping it close despite the early setbacks.
Yeah, it is tough with these best of ones. If you lose that 60-minute game where you technically were winning for most of it, and suddenly that's just it. You don't get a second chance during the same day against the same team, and you just got to get ready for the next one. Blanc once again takes some good trades here against Caps. Look at that little extra slow coming down right behind Blanc. The little line, basically, that is the Glacial Augment after you use a slow item. And now I think I've talked enough about that.
Fair enough. It happens
I
more.
just wanted to see it and
Holy
show
moly.
it.
We got to teleport down to the bottom side. A pair of them. In fact, let's see if HeaQ is going to stay alive, courtesy of his support. He's going to be able to hang in there for just a few seconds, but sOAZ jumps right on top of him, delivers an ultimatum, and sends him to his death, but he might just pay for it with his own life. And now it is a venerable party in this bottom lane. The Zac goes bouncing, not bringing anyone in, but he does make Norskeren and Prophet kiss. 3v3 down by.
Well, this is happening. Memento just killed the top lane tower. Everyone else TP'd right down to the bottom lane. Sadly for Fnatic, Caps was in base and couldn't join. That ends up being a 1-for-1. But first turret for Roccat. Broxah is still around bot lane, and Rekkles is hiding in the brush. I think he is spotted by Prophet. At least he tried to see if he was in there.
Wants to take that 1v1. They're also
Broxah
going to
now.
spot the dragon coming down.
Here's a TP.
Another TP.
That's a support TP.
All right, Norskeren's there, and Caps, he hops the wall, looking to try and cut off Norskeren. Oh, Fusro Da pushes him back.
Use the hose.
Let's see if he can do any more. It looks like he's under the safety of the turret. Fnatic are going to have to back away.
Didn't use it. Sadly, Caps, first roam for him, unsuccessful. Fnatic now moving towards mid lane. Memento really loves his red buff and wants to make sure he gets as many of these red buffs as possible.
His mission is to make Broxah's life hard. Now let's see this bottom play again.
All right, so it is engaged from Fnatic. TP coming in from both teams. Double TP from Rockat's side, both Corki and the Gnar. And HeaQ here is in stopwatch, that's why it looked kind of weird. But he did end up going down. And of course, sOAZ now stuck on the turret. Not much he can do. And we talked a little bit about this already, how in a meta with so many TPs, going for these like aggressive tower dives can be very risky because there's a chance 2 to 3 people just randomly show up and then you get punished because you're now the ones under the enemy turret. Now you got to keep track of 2 TPs, one from Prophet, one from Blanc. You got to keep track of Shen TP and Shen ulti. HeaQ can also swap the TP, then you got to keep track of that one as well.
Yeah, everything is very complicated. This is
It's a lot more
advanced League of
timing
Legends
happening.
spectating.
It used to be just like time 1 TP only from the enemy team, and you could kind of keep that under control.
Yeah.
Now it's all over the place.
Spellbooks and stopwatches, man. What a time to be alive. All right. 2-2, though, is the total skill difference. Roccat, the big advantage for this team, apart from the farm differential, is the fact that they got tower number 1, and they have tempo advantage. Prophet's actually starting off soloing the Rift Herald.
Well, he already did push the top lane. It is getting pushed back right now from sOAZ. Caps, on the other hand, where can he go? Stopwatch is now gone from the bot lane of Roccat, meaning you could look for a tower dive down there. There's no TP for Prophet, so he can't join. There could be an opportunity for Fnatic. They have the Alistar ulti to tank the turret as well.
You're gonna have to make something happen. You talked about scaling in the mid lane. Blanc's not getting any weaker.
No,
He's at BF sword as well now.
They are looking for it, Pirate. Broxah is down here.
He's been here for a little while. Caps is coming now. Okay, Norskeren, he sniffs him
Here's
out.
the
But
dive.
Caps is here. Let's see if they can get the damage done. In he hops, looks for HeaQ. Can't quite pull him off, but now he pulls him right back. And inside of it all is the Caps damage as Rekkles rockets his way in. And Memento's gonna fall right after his stopwatch runs out.
That was a tower dive we just talked about. Fnatic executing it properly. Prophet was stuck on top side with that TP. Blanc, same thing for him because he was helping with the Rift Herald. Very good call. They will get a turret as well. And sOAZ is keeping control of the mid lane. Great roam from the Aurelion Sol and exactly what we want to see from this pick.
Yeah. Great move by Fnatic here to kick things off. So
Fnatic brush.
trying to bait it out. Rekkles taking a few tower shots to get some extra damage. Now Prophet, though, finds himself an open mid turret, and he sends Shelly after it.
Oh, we'll be able to do a lot of damage because no one can hit it beforehand unless Caps is fast.
He's trying. He's got those speed boots, man. They're going to get the Rift Herald to charging. This should be maybe enough to get this tower. Blanc's going to be here as well. And Caps can't hold off this onslaught.
So midland tower in favor of Roccat. Not the end of the world that they lost the bot lane trade, seeing as they got Rift Herald plus mid turret. But this is the play from before here. As you guys can see in the minimap, 2 members of Rockat's side stuck mid and top, can't join in time. And once Caps gets in range to land, he's first slow, then his auto attacks with Glacial Augment, then his GLP, additional slow coming from Glacial Augment. There are like 4 different slows or something happening from Caps at this point.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get away if you don't have flash or multiple jumps.
It's definitely a good chance for them. Now, this game certainly isn't slow, but of course, up next will be H2K and G2.
And I
So
gotta
now
say,
after
Pyre,
this.
after last week, where we had, the really slow games, 50,
We had
60
them in week
minute,
1 too.
everything in week 1 as well. Today, and even yesterday, we had a lot of games where we had more action. We had definitely faster, like, turrets and inhibs going down.
Snowballs.
More roaming, like,
Snowballs off of like one mistake.
yeah.
Made.
So far, I like patch 8.2.
Yeah.
And I think it's bringing some new life and some new picks.
Oh, speaking of new life, right here in the mid, it looks like it's going to be some new death very soon. Memento's pulled in, up against Blanc. Rekkles on a killing spree. He's been quietly stacking those up throughout this game on the quick picks, and Fnatic, they are pulling the trigger easy.
And once again, Fnatic either roam to bot lane to make a play, or it's the bot lane roaming to mid lane to make a play here. Much better coordination and synergy between the bottom side of the map on Fnatic. Meanwhile, sOAZ is left alone top lane. Finally, he gets to sit and get some farm. Prophet is not there. He was stuck in a team fight. And sOAZ...
Fnatic. This is a scary thing too, Deficio, because normally you don't think of Cloud Drake as like, it's not the most important of them. It's not all that great all the time. This is a team that wants to roam all over the map, and they just got another tool to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I like it here. I like it with the Aurelion Sol. So, Memento didn't get that one because Caps' flash was on point, but we already see 4 members of Fnatic ready to fight, and while there's a Shen ulti, it's not enough to keep the Sejuani alive, and Fnatic wins this fight here. Another kill, as you highlighted, Pyro for Rekkles. 3-0-2 now. 2 items fully completed, 21 minutes in. He's a very happy Tristana.
I think the entire Fnatic team has to be pretty happy with what's going on right now. They've brought the gold game to an even keel. And you mentioned Caps and how his flash has been on point. We've seen that multiple times now, that he just a second away from Memento connecting on the Glacial Prison.
All the little small things is like the small little movements. Quick flashes, side steps. Definitely one of the very fascinating things about how good Caps are at using them. Very quick. A lot of people highlight his mechanics very often as the main strength of Caps, and their decision-making can be a little bit questionable from time to time.
I mean, it happens.
He's a young player.
He's hardly the first European mid laner to have that combination of traits.
It's true. It's true. We've definitely had a lot in the past who showed up with great mechanics, but questionable decisions made during the game.
The good news is one is a lot easier to learn than the other.
We would hope so, at least. Let's see what happens here with this replay. sOAZ hiding in the top lane. Bang! Right onto the Kalista. There's an ulti. Kalista can't get out, and that's a kill.
That was sexy.
That's why, by the way, I wanted this team to ban Camille and not Taliyah, so that a Kalista can use her jumps to, kite and get away from stuff. Not get Camille ulted, and where are you gonna go? Nowhere.
Yep. Well, here's a familiar sight. Rekkles on the side lane, knocking down towers. Now he's got some backup here. Broxah and Hylissang, and of course he backs off. Now they've got their sights set on the mid. Quick collapse from Fnatic. I hope Blanc doesn't step too far forward, or he might find himself shot down in flames.
Oh, he sits with the package, though, can use that defensively.
Okay, he's out of there. Teleport coming on. Now can Fnatic melt through this one? No, they cannot. The cavalry has arrived. In comes Prophet. They look for Hylissang. He's already chunked down to half his health, and Norskeren mistimes the taunt, and sOAZ certainly does not. Caps gets the kill off onto Norskeren, and the tower's going, and so are the Roccat members. Rekkles picking up kill number 5. This guy's on a roll today.
And it's all Fnatic right now. Another fight in the mid lane in their favor. Let's see if they want to do anything around Baron. Hylissang can just TP back.
Oh, this was an old Fnatic special back in the day. Get the kills mid and then run straight towards the Baron. They got 3 members strong on it. This is in plain Roccat vision with that ward. Rekkles trying to kite them all back. No, Broxah is incredibly low. So is Caps. They look for the hop over, looking for HeaQ. A little bit late on the bait, but Rekkles is going to pick up 1. Can he get more? Prophet being chased down. The cow is right behind him. And that's going to be good night. Caps, he picks up his kill.
Oh,
now Blanc chased down Rekkles. Oh, he's godlike. Well, things are snowballing really quickly right now.
Yeah, and so many fights happening. Fnatic, they're looking at the Baron once again. We have Memento and Norskeren alive. Let's see if they can do anything. No TPs for the dead members on the side of Roccat. HeaQ can swap his heal over to a TP if he wants to try and join the fight once he's alive in 5 seconds. Let's see if the tanks can do anything to stop this Baron here.
They've got to hope to kill Broxah, but he's regenning a little bit. Hylissang playing gatekeeper, pit keeper, if you will. And it looks like with 3 members strong, Fnatic should be able to secure this one. Roccat know that they cannot contest. 24 minutes. Fnatic have amassed a 6k gold lead and a Baron buff.
And now they'll play around the mid lane here. Blanc knows he can stay alive with the package, and then Roccat calls for the re-engage. Memento's ulti does not connect and stun anything. And Hylissang still had ulti here. Yeah, a little bit too early. Right there from Norskeren. Silent frame hints of dying after missing that little taunt. And the backline of Fnatic are just sitting there hammering away at whatever is right in front of them. And then they look towards the Baron. I think it's fine that Roccat are trying to contest it. Blanc is fairly strong at this point, but
TP is a big difference maker.
Oh, HeaQ gets stunned instantly by sOAZ, and then he dies. And at this point here, they can't actually do anything against Fnatic. And even Rekkles at the end feeling confident taking the 1v1.
I like that flash forward. Very confident. Rekkles knows that he can pretty much take out just about anybody on the enemy team, even packing some safe defensive tools. 3-item Tristana, he goes ahead and says, all right, I got enough gold to pick up a QSS.
But you gotta feel a little bit bad for Roccat solo laners. Like, Prophet and Blanc, after what happened in the start of the game with the invade from Memento, they were doing so well in terms of farming. Prophet was controlling top lane. The Corki was scaling into the late game. It was all great. And then Fnatic were like, nah, you know what? Let's start force a fight mid, then force a fight bot, then mid, then bot. And suddenly HeaQ is 0-5 and Memento is 0-4 and Fnatic is now 6k gold ahead.
Yeah, it seemed like
Blanc
the
is just
coordination
farming, man.
just clicked for this Fnatic team. I mean, that or they're just taking out the frustration from yesterday. I don't know what's going on, what these guys ate for breakfast, but it's clearly doing them some serious good.
And we're seeing a lot of aggressive plays, a lot of roams happening, which is gone in favor of Fnatic. sOAZ, once again, we're trying to just farm any side lane for as long as possible. Rekkles is on the way down in case someone tries to gank sOAZ.
Prophet has only got half a Gnar bar, and he knows he can't contest this tier 2. Fnatic are going to be able to pick that one up. So the siege on 2 lanes continues. Still a minute and a half of that Baron buff.
The Tristana that was sitting on 2 items at 21 minutes. Now, with QSS, with Static Shift as well, at 26 minutes, got a lot of extra gold suddenly.
You know how we show like the graphs of gold for the teams in games? We should just show Rekkles' gold.
In this game, it's definitely spiking a lot. Also, Caps, despite falling behind early in the game, is
oh boy.
fed now.
All right, he's used his hop. Broxah looking for him. Norskeren's there. No, not going to go too deep just yet. They don't need to.
6,000 gold difference, or 5,500 between the AD carries. This is what happens when you're 0-5 and the enemy AD carry is 0-7. There tends to be a bit of a difference.
Just a little bit.
And typically you could say, or if you're me in solo queue and I'm 0-5, I say, don't worry guys, late game is where I'm gonna shine.
The way things are going, there might not be a late game.
There won't be a late game, and it's also Kalista on the other side, so you typically want to really dominate early to mid game, or at least the mid game where you can start playing around objectives and really utilize, the rent. In this game, he's probably not even gonna see a Dragon or Baron again, and he's gonna have to team fight his way out. And now there's 4 items on Rekkles. Yeah, it feels bad.
Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult for Roccat to try and come back into this one. And it's so strange that they had a pretty solid early game and the plan in mind to sort of keep Fnatic at bay, keeping Broxah down in the jungle, not letting the solo lanes really do a whole lot, putting a lot of pressure on Caps. It was well executed until Fnatic decided to just bum rush the mid.
I mean, Fnatic definitely won all the skirmishes during this game here and used that to simply get ahead. It wasn't about just sitting and farming and playing slow. It's very aggressive. Rekkles right now, top lane. Bot lane sOAZ still sitting against Prophet.
This is that difference, though, between side lane Rekkles of yesteryear and side lane Rekkles today. Is he's always got Broxah or someone around him.
A little bit easy in this game as well when you're this fed.
Yeah, that's fair.
To
That's
sit
fair.
in the side lane.
It's not like a desperation move anymore.
No,
it's
no,
more like a win condition.
You also have Caps who can just fly over the walls and show up in case you need backup, or TP from Hylissang. Why not? At this point, he has an Alistar. I like swapping over the Ghost and just have Ghost Flash. And then you are so mobile and you can always find and engage as an Alistar. Also, Righteous Glory is in there, so he's fast.
Speedy cow. All right, Rekkles, Broxah, Hylissang, looking to close this game out. Roccat mostly stuck inside their base here. A few more pot shots on Norskeren. Getting closer and closer, trying to finish this one off, but it's still under 30 minutes, right? I mean, it seems pretty quick. This is definitely different from what we've been seeing so far in the ULCS.
And for now, Roccat holding the base. Blanc keeps trying to farm as much as he can. Fnatic have full control of the map. They get all the jungle camps. They get all the objectives in the river. And they might have to wait for another Baron to spawn. Because right now, you can't really utilize your TPs and your roaming, seeing as the enemy team is stuck in their base. You can't really flank them there easily. And it means Fnatic are just kind of waiting for all the camps and the objectives to respawn. 1 minute, 45 seconds. That's the timer we're looking for. And Rocket's last stand might be around that Baron if they can try and win a fight and stop Fnatic from getting it.
No, we've seen a lot of epic plays already in this split around the Baron pit, but to come back with this kind of deficit, nearing 10,000 gold, 6 towers to 2, 12 kills to 2, that would be something worth talking about. Let's see if Roccat can do really much of anything before that Baron gets started up. Just trying to keep the waves pushed.
let's look at some of the options they have. Sejuani ulti on to Caps. There is no cleanse on his side. He is sitting with heal. There's no QSS, no Mikhails. So if you do land a Sejuani ulti in his face, he is stuck there for a while, and you can try and take him down. You can throw in the Shen as well, aim it towards Caps, because it is hard to hit Rekkles. Good range. Scimitar is already there, so he will be able to get out of the first initial CC. Problem is they have to deal with sOAZ and Broxah and Hylissang, all three going towards HeaQ and Blanc. And as we talked about in Champ Select, like these two AD carries, Corki and Kalista, normally you want to be able to use their mobility to escape whoever's diving them, but if sOAZ gets in range with ulti, they're stuck, they're not getting out.
Yeah, and if they're not able to touch Rekkles, I mean, that's just going to be a constant barrage, and the tanks are not going to hold out.
So it almost feels like either they have to kill sOAZ when he jumps in, but he sadly, for Roccat, is sitting with the GA, so smart choice on his side, or they got to try and get Caps.
Maybe Prophet can get the kill off onto sOAZ. He's got Blanc here as well. Guardian Angel is going to get popped. As soon as he's right over the wall, Hylissang comes a smidgen too late. Now, Guardian Angel's down.
All right, that's something. Next team fight, sOAZ goes in, they can kill him. They have a lot of damage sitting here with the 3-item Corki.
Yeah. And credit to Roccat, they've not allowed themselves to be pushed around without getting something back for it. The vision game for Roccat, close to this Baron pit in their own jungle, it's still there.
And they are looking towards the Baron now. Fnatic trying to deny entrance to the river, or at least look to potentially force a fight if they see Roccat moving around this jungle here near the wolf camp, near the blue buff. Broxah and Hylissang, the two main engages on the side of Fnatic. sOAZ losing Flash and GA could be huge if we're going to see a comeback. He might be one of the members going down early in a fight.
Yeah, it's going to be very tense. But Rocket's still clinging to life. The base hasn't been broken into. That's the saving grace for this team. We talked a long time ago, it seems, about the scaling of the Corki. It's 3 items.
Yeah, he's there,
he can
man.
dish some serious damage.
If he can actually stay alive during the fight.
There is always the X factor. If you get, it doesn't matter how good your team is. If there's a 5-man Mega Gnar, that might just turn things.
So
but
we have to
going to start this.
Have to look at the river now. Fnatic double control ward here. Smart choice on their side. Roccat, they are moving towards it, but the Baron is dying very quickly, and now there's a TP behind.
Yeah,
it's both Hylissang
do
and
they even want to
sOAZ.
finish this one off? They could just have it free, to be completely honest. They're going to go ahead and take it down. And it looks like the teleport was just a ploy to scare Roccat away, so Fnatic get themselves a free Baron.
Just good setup around Baron as well from Fnatic, denying the vision near the big objective, so Roccat didn't know exactly when it was started. And then suddenly when they try to move in, double TP appeared behind them. They had to respect the flank here, so they give up the Baron. Fnatic should be able to use it to at least break open one lane. And once you get one lane open and you get the inhib down, you force Roccat to sit and defend that side, and you can suddenly break open another one. Slowly you will get the inhibs down. And yesterday they did get all the inhibs down.
Multiple times,
but they didn't win. Obviously they were playing against a Misfits with a very, very strong late game comp. I feel like on Rocket's side, because you have a 0-5 AD carry, it's not as scary just yet, and Fnatic should still be fine.
Yeah, that's a fair point, but you definitely can't afford to just sit around for the rest of the game and allow Roccat to come back into it. They're going to have to push the boundaries a little bit. This Baron buff might just be what they need to do it. Pushing on 2 lanes, nearly 3 with the Aurelion Sol. Of course, back to the middle of mid lane. There was a minion wave pushing up against them for just a moment.
One thing they can try and do, but it is risky against the Shen support, is set up a play against Prophet. sOAZ's ult to lock him down, and then Caps flies over and they try and 2v1 kill him, but Shen ulti will come and try and prevent that from happening, so Fnatic might not be able to kill Prophet in time, and therefore they're not going for a potentially risky play. Other choice is trying to get Rekkles in range of a turret.
Contain the risk.
He can kill it fast if he gets to hit it a few times. So one hit there, the rapid fire
Step up
cannon.
to it, but there are 4 members of Roccat still holding him at bay.
And that's the thing. This Roccat team defending well. Rekkles gets another hit. Just keep doing this. Slow and steady. The tower will die eventually unless Roccat forces a team fight.
That they might have to do.
Wait for another rapid fire cannon and then step in with the extra range.
But Fnatic are still pumping the brakes here. Not trying to take on too much risk.
Oh, but there's another one now where you can go hit the turret once again. Boop. There you go.
Around 1 shot, 2 shot. Throws down the explosive charge. Broxah tanking up Rockat's return fire. Rekkles, that's the 3rd one.
And Rekkles is sitting with some lifesteal, so he can get HP back. There's a fight top lane.
Yeah, Prophet in the Mega Gnar. Now he's going to bring the Shen to the edge of the circle. Gets in on the taunt, looking for the extra damage, and sOAZ says goodbye, but the rest of his team is already doing work on the bottom side. Inhibitor is opened up.
So Roccat decided to trade a kill on sOAZ for bot lane inhib, and then trying to force Fnatic back with the remaining Baron buff. He will run out in 50 seconds. That was the call from Rocket's side. Get a kill top, give Fnatic one inhib, and then done. No more. They have to reset, and Roccat gets a bit of time to push out lanes and spend some of their gold.
All right, so Roccat bought themselves a little bit of time, but yeah, they've got a gaping hole in the bottom side of their base. sOAZ will be back up in 25 seconds, and he will have that Guardian Angel up again too.
And the mid inhib turret was killed by Caps, I believe.
Yeah, before he sped out.
Just before he moved down towards the bottom lane, so Fnatic did actually gain more than Roccat. I get the call they're making, saying we will eventually lose this tower because Rekkles can just keep hitting it. Let's get something, and that is a kill on top side. Sucks for Roccat, though they also lost the mid lane turret.
It just seems they're trying to grab some table scraps at this point. Fnatic aren't really giving them a whole lot of good options, and as the game keeps going on and on, Fnatic, they may not be growing their lead by like an insane amount anymore, but they're already just about topped out. Nobody's getting any weaker. The Aurelion Sol's approaching that 6-item mark. Rekkles, he's got his Lord Dominix.
Gotta get that soul steal on Caps.
And they're just clearing away the Roccat vision. That's a tough one for Team Roccat. I mean, after yesterday's very close game they had up against Giants, and they're on the cusp of going 0-2 on the week after such a stellar start to the Spring Split.
Still trying to hold on for now. The Fnatic can suddenly push topside. Got the super minion spot, and once again, Rekkles can keep hitting the turret. They force Roccat to look for a team fight. Memento is ready with flash and ulti. Taunt flashes there from Norskeren, and once again, if they hit Caps, he can't really get out. He can't really avoid being locked in place, and they do have some time to try and kill him if they can get through all the other members of Fnatic that are trying to peel and keep him alive. There we go once again with the GLP in. Broxah's in.
Yeah, they've opted to start this fight themselves. Memento's going to get kissed up against Prophet. Caps goes on a rampage kill. Now sOAZ taken extremely low, but he's got that shield on, and Hylissang gets a big knock up on the cow, and Inhibitor is already taken down in all of the chaos. So Fnatic look for number 3, throwing their weight around, and they're able to get it without any casualties.
A lot of damage dealt in the fight though here. Roccat trying to force Fnatic back.
Let's see what they can do. A little bit of thoughts from Perks about this game. Now, Rekkles is certainly one of the most explosive Tristanas that we have in the game. And down goes that last inhibitor tower. Teleport coming back in for the Camille. The last inhibitor will fall, so Fnatic absolutely shredding this base. Not going to close it out just yet. There'll be another Baron before this one's all said and done.
I mean, why not? Get another Baron. You got super minions coming in all 3 lanes. Buff up everything. And then close the game here. Roccat tried here with the fight. Let's see, it's actually Fnatic starting it. It's all the slows coming from Caps first, but look at the amount of damage he's taking in return. Sadly, for Roccat, Memento just dies before he gets to do anything. And while sOAZ did drop low, he gets out just in time, and Prophet couldn't get in. I think Prophet's flash was on cooldown as well, so he couldn't really utilize the Gnar. And a lot of things were just missing from the front line of Roccat to try and get some CC down on potentially Caps and his Aurelion Sol so they could kill him.
Feels like, honestly, a lot of this is the goal difference that Fnatic have their favor. Just a stronger fight, a lot more items to work with.
Definitely true. Baron, 50 seconds Pyre.
Yes.
Ton of super minions everywhere. Full items on Tristana, full items on Aurelion Sol.
Sounds like the recipe for a winning game, Deficio.
Note to everyone at home, play more Aurelion Sol. I want to see every pro team play it, because it gives you some of the best games to watch.
It definitely is a lot of fun, but Caps had a hard time in the early stages of this game, remember. Sure. But what a way to thunder back into it. Fnatic, out of inhibitors to take. They're going to have to go for the base next, but still muscling their way in, taking a few shots. 15 seconds before that Baron would spawn. Not sure if that's what they want to take.
Prophet's flash is still on cooldown for a few seconds. He's definitely going to need it in the next fight.
Roccat will need a miracle of a fight to stay alive.
Yeah, they need the perfect fight here. Like Fnatic just forcing Roccat to sit back here. Don't allow him to move out. See if you can get some damage on the Nexus turret as well.
Here come the supers. Do or die time here for Roccat. The taunt flash. Norskaren's going to find one, and the Fate's Call is going to pull him back in. sOAZ looking for the dash onto Memento. Norskeren is going to drop, and Fnatic still 5 members strong. Looking to close this one out. The chunk damage just too much, and the Zac sticks them back. The rest of the team is going to fall, and Fnatic, with a style, decide to finish this one off right here, right now. It was a rough game yesterday, but just like Zach, they bounced back.
We talked about it for the last fight. You can't do that. You can't taunt Rekkles. He has Scimitar. He's just going to cleanse it and get out.
Oh, yeah.
They had to go for Aurelion Sol if they wanted to try and win a fight. They didn't do it. Caps was safe most of the game. And Rekkles, great performance from him on this Tristana. They play around bot side, then they rotate towards mid. Ton of kills in his favor early on. And a tough early game, due to a good plan from Roccat, turned into a very proactive Fnatic that was constantly roaming, TPing, forcing skirmishes.
And this is the Fnatic that everybody wanted to see. These guys live off momentum. They thrive off the energy from, their very passionate fan base, off the expectations they have of themselves. A win like this just feels good.
Definitely, and they got fed on Memento there as well. Because
That's true.
They shut him down pretty hard after his good start.
Yeah.
I like the draft. I really like this draft because it gives you so many ways to be aggressive, and it gets so hard to play against it. We already talked about Aurelion Sol, how whenever you're doing anything in the side lane against that champion, you're like, okay, there is a chance he can arrive in a matter of seconds. Almost all the time.
And Roccat was afraid of that too, right? They banned Talia, remember?
That Talia ban.
Yeah.
Not necessary. Anyway, not the reason they lost.
No, but the Camille, outside the landing phase, the Camille was pretty terrifying as well. I mean, you got to give props to just about everybody on the Fnatic team. Like, Broxah could not get a camp to save his life in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, he had to fight for every camp.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But
Persevered, man.
really good skirmishes. Roccat go down 0-2 this week after sitting tied for first place coming into week 3. Lost to Giants yesterday after a very, very big Baron fight going in favor of Giants, and now losing to Fnatic after a good start from Roccat, but then simply getting out skirmished around mid and bot lane. Tough game for them. They were down 10,000 gold almost when they were trying to defend the base. And we were talking about the few chances to try and get back.
Sure. And it seemed like up until that very last fight, Fnatic were content to sit back, let the mini wave pile on deeper and deeper, and make it hard for Roccat to really find any sort of counter engage.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's a clean way to close out. It's frustrating to play against.
It's very frustrating to play against. Glacial Augment Aurelion Sol. Add more slows on auto attacks, on item activations.
Yeah, and you just slowly lose that
You're
game.
never running away
The other
from that
side.
one, that's for sure. I like the innovation.
Don't need your own speed when you can slow everybody else down. Now, after the break, G2 Esports coach Grabs is going to give us some insight on the first weeks before his team takes the stage for the game against H2K, so don't miss it.
I won't.
Better not. Back to mid, Blanc is going to Valk over, misses on the rocket, but Norskeren is incoming, and it's a flash. Oh, the taunt under tower. First blood for Norskeren. He's going to be able to hang in there for just a few seconds, but sOAZ jumps right on top of him, delivers an ultimatum, and sends him to his death, but he might just pay for it with his own life. And now it is a venerable party in this bottom lane. In he hops, looks for HeaQ. Can't quite pull him off, but now he pulls him right back, and inside of it all is the Caps damage as Rekkles rockets his way in. And Memento's gonna fall right after his stopwatch runs out.
That was a tower dive we just talked about.
Garen mistimes the taunt, and sOAZ certainly does not. Caps gets the kill off onto Norskeren, and the tower's going, and so are the Roccat members. Rekkles picking up kill number 5. This guy's on a roll today. Prophet being chased down, the cow is right behind him, and that's going to be good night. Caps, he picks up his kill.
Oh,
now Blanc chased down Rekkles. Oh, he's godlike with a style. Decide to finish this one off right here, right now. It was a rough game yesterday, but just like Zach, they bounced back.